Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I am going to talk about quitting paid employment, and I think this is very important to talk about, especially as we're coming to the end of the year. Hard choices are going to be made, people are going to be leaving their toxic job environment, and I just wanted this video to come in at this time because I remember when I did it, it was towards the ending of the year as well, and it just kind of gave me a fresh start going into the following year. So I worked in a job environment that wasn't healthy for me, I'm going to put it like that. And even though it built me, it made me stronger, it will always be a part of my journey. In retrospect, and even in the moment, I knew that I couldn't be here for the long haul. I'd done over 2 years in the organization, and at this point I was tired. It was too much bad energy, it was too much pressure, it was just a lot for me. And even though that was 10 years ago, wow, that was over 10 years ago. I was agile, I was young, I didn't have no responsibilities, no husband, no babies. But around like after 2 years I got promoted, and at this point I'm like, this promotion is good. And for a lot of people, if I were not so many that made the promotion cut, right? So this promotion will even keep a lot of people in this place and all of that. But for me, I knew that this was a setup. Like, those promotions that come, but in the long haul they're not good for you. I felt like that was what that was. So I took a step, and I resigned the job, and I went to do my MBA, right? And that's the thing. So for me personally, I don't believe in resigning to nothing. And when I say nothing, I'm going to build on it along the line, but you can also gather what I mean from the stories I'm telling. So I resigned and I went to go do my MBA. I traveled all out of the country. In fact, like, everybody just leave me. Not everybody, okay? Man was in Nigeria. But anyway, I traveled and I went to do my master's. Fast forward to when I was done with my MBA, I came back. At this time I was in a very serious relationship, which eventually led to marriage. But I went back to the job. I still went back to the job. All the opportunities that I thought I was going to get with my MBA, they were not coming through, but the organization still had a spot for me in another city. So I went. And when I tell you that this pressure, I'd never gone through so much. At this time, I also had a small business I started doing once I got back into the country and while I was on this job. Now, bear in mind that I was promoted before I left, so I wasn't starting from like a junior level in the new city. I was managing a team now. And then I had a business, and then I had a serious boyfriend. So I felt like that was when, the pressure of the job started to get to me and affect every other area of my life. Like, we'll be working weekends, we'll be doing the most. And then add that on, it was the organization as a whole. It had bad people management that transcended from top to bottom. Guys, I had a driver. I would be in the car and I would just be looking at these kiosks. There are plenty around Lagos where I used to work, and those ladies will be getting by. Maybe I don't even know how much they make per day, but they are probably just selling snacks. Some of them are braiders, braiding hair. And I remember I would be in my official car with my driver driving me, and I'll be thinking, if only I had the joy these people had. Tell me if that was not depression. Like, I'll really be thinking, if only I had the joy that these guys had. I feel like every day I didn't have any drive to wake up, and it kept getting worse. It got to a time that my boss said, oh, now we have to start coming to work at 6:30 a.m. I was flat out depressed. And that's why, let me quickly say thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring this video. BetterHelp is an online therapy service, and they can connect you to therapists who are able to give you unbiased advice about anything that you're going through. With BetterHelp, you can chat with your therapist either through phone or chat or text. It just depends on how you're feeling. I know that starting therapy can be hard, and you might not even get a right fit in your area, and that's where BetterHelp comes in. They have over 30,000 licensed and experienced therapists who are able to help you with a wide range of issues. To get started, all you have to do is fill out a few questions about your needs and like what you're looking to get out of therapy, and BetterHelp will match you to the right fit for you in as little as 48 hours in most cases. And if at any point you don't like the therapist that you have been matched with, then you're free to change to a new therapist at no additional cost to you without worrying about insurance or anything like that. Also, you're able to schedule your therapy sessions at a time that is well suited for you, the time that is most convenient for you. People spend hours in the gym every week. The time that I said I was going through mentally with my job back then, I was active physically, but that didn't help me, right? I also needed to pay the same attention to my mind, right, that I was paying to my body. So if you're the person who has been getting by with exercising, you've been right on your diet, you've been right spiritually, but you see that there is still something not sitting well mentally in your mind, please consider seeking help. There are over 4 million people who already use BetterHelp to make sure that they're living a healthier and happier life. If you're one of those who want to join, then I'm going to leave a link in my description box for you to check out, or you can just visit betterhelp.com/Tolulokpe. With that link, you're supporting my channel, but you also get 10% off your first month with BetterHelp. Now let's backtrack. At the end of the day, I sincerely had to quit the job. And you know what's funny? My parents didn't understand, my mom especially, because it was like, what? Not so many people get this kind of, experience that you've gotten and stuff. But one day, before I actually quit, I sent her an episode, a long text, and I said, Mom, I'm done. I just told her I'm done. Don't worry, I promise I'll still make you proud, but this is not the way I'm going to do it. Like, I can't be here. And it was so hard at that time. Like, I remember once I just moved back into the new city, my parents were not even living there. So between, living with 2 friends at the same time while I tried to get on my feet, it was just a lot. Now, all of those are just like, a part of the process, which makes sense. But I feel like I will now get to work where I spend most of the hours of my day, and somebody is giving me a hard time. I remember I finished with a distinction on my MBA. I came back and, my referrals were good. And I remember after this new boss had given me a team to manage, she actually looked at me after like maybe less than a month of working with me, and she was like, I thought you said you finished with a distinction. I don't see it. Is this the distinction brain? I don't see it. And then like another 2 weeks after that, she told me, oh, do you want your team members to think mediocrity is okay? Like, I remember I would leave her office and I'll keep saying, I'm not mediocre in Jesus' name. Like, what's spoken over you? I'd even heard worse about like other people, some other bosses in that organization. And the country I used to live, there was nothing like reporting a workplace emotional abuse or whatever. You suck it up, are you earning your money? Yes, you suck it up and you go again. That's just the, culture. So it was hard. It was hard. I remember there was a boss who used to try that with people in Nigeria, and then they transferred him to another country. I heard he tried it and they sacked him. Like, the staff would close for 1 hour for lunchtime, and then he was trying to put someone under pressure to say, oh, they can't go on their lunch break, because the country had like good workplace ethics and like emotional abuse and everything intact. The staff reported him and they moved this guy. Like, they sacked him immediately. I'm like, we could really use this kind of thing back where I used to live. But anyway, so that was the story. And for me, if there's anything in this life that I'm grateful for, I could make into a curse, I could talk about all day, all year long, is the fact that I took that bold step. It wasn't easy. Let me tell you something. It's not like I had one like parents' money or even like husband's money that was already promised. I did it for me. I did it for my mental health. I did it for my future. And I'm so glad I did it. Now, I'm going to talk about some things that a toxic work environment does for you. But first, let us define toxic. Toxic says very harmful or unpleasant in a pervasive or insidious way. Talk about unpleasant, talk about harmful. And the thing is, with toxicity, it's subtle sometimes, right? It's like piled up day after day, little here, little there, and then you wake up years from now, you don't even realize who you are or what that system has done to you and has changed you as a person. So for me, like I said, as my life got fuller, I saw that there is no way I see this job in my future, not even as a wife, not to talk of as a mom, not to talk of as like somebody who wants to exhibit all the passions I have inside of me. Like, it was a lot. And that's going to lead me to my very first point of a toxic work environment. And this applies to relationships or friendships or anything that's toxic in your life. But let's, put it at work environment tonight. It breeds stifleness. Like, it keeps you in chokehold. It's almost like you wake up and you don't even have a drive for your passion, for your ambition, the things you want to do, like the way that you have envisioned your life. If you remain in a toxic situation, if you remain in that toxic job, it's either they downplay your ambitions or they talk down on who you think you are, or you just believe that everybody around here is settling for bare minimum. Why can't I? You believe the lies that all the things you had in your head are never possible. It breeds stifleness to life generally. And the thing is, for me at that time, it was even a lot, because I could see it in people who had just like 10 years, 15 years in that organization. And I'm like, not to bash them or talk them down, but I don't want my life to just be this. Like, I couldn't imagine why somebody would call us to a 6:30 a.m. meeting and she would be there every day honoring it. And then I heard that she even had kids, she had a husband. So I'm like, make it make sense. Like, you practically do not have a life. I don't want the drive for this job to make me become a boss like you. No, that's not the type. Like, are you even having time to pray? Are you even spending time in prayer like this? Like, where is the time? And then we're not talking about closing up for the day until about 9 p.m. and then 6:30 a.m. we're back there again. You name it. For me, I'd also talked about how, there were verbal abusive words. I'm just like, no. And that is what a toxic work environment does to you. You are just stifled. Like, you just feel like life could literally stop and you wouldn't have made anything out of it. It's like it zaps out the joy for life or for dreaming about the future. That's one, because I was there. Now, secondly, a toxic work environment changes you. It changes you in the terms of you then begin to conform, right? Imagine if I didn't get out of there quickly. I bet that boss was not like that the day she joined that organization. In that organization I even heard it was from like top bottom, right? So by the time you're around people like that, the Bible says that evil communication corrupts good manners, right? A company of fools shall be destroyed. Like, it wearies them. So you become that person. And that's like, toxicity can eat into you as well. And it's like, you have now joined the, lot of people who are using verbally abusive word, who are like looking down and talking down on their subordinates, because that is what you see every day. That is what you're exposed to, right? And it's easy to bring someone down than to pull them up, right? So no matter how much you want to uphold your own standards, uphold your values or your belief and things like that, sometimes the environment of toxicity overshadows your passion for all these great things that you want to do. And that's how it changes you. You then become that person that you're like, who is this? Sometimes it's even the money. Can we talk about that? Because let's say your only drive for coming here is money. Does that not tell you that this environment has changed you in a way, because you don't care if they insult you, spit on you, talk, as long as I'm getting paid at the end of the month? It turns you to a liar. Let's not even go there, because that one, my heart used to beat fast every day. Like, rapture occurs like this. Like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, these lies that were already a part of the system, and you don't even blink to think about it, that is even a mistake. So every time the Holy Spirit will highlight it to my heart, I'm like, hey, imagine people, this is what they've known. Like, imagine you're trying to develop a Christian walk, a faith walk, and at the same time make it make sense. So toxicity changes you. And the third thing is comfortable. I know, and that's why you've been there since last year, or since 6 years, or for years now, and you're still planning to be there next year. It just makes you comfortable. The money is comfortable. This is your source of livelihood. What happens in comfort zones? Nothing grows there. Now, I'm going to finish up my story to say that the boldness I had to quit, like I said, didn't come from nothing. At this time too, even though my business was like just 3 months old, I made a big break. When I say big, it was lower than my 1 month salary at the time. But I'm like, you know what? If I can make this in my business 1 month, I don't know if I'll see this kind of deal next month or in 2 months' time, but it should be enough for me to, stabilize until I get my life together. And then at this point as well, is what to say that I also had my eyes on another job, a government job that I knew that would not be half as stressful, half as toxic as where I was, right? And the pay was still good. And then I taken necessary steps to get me there. Now, I didn't get that job until another close to 2 years. I didn't start that job until 2 years after I left there. But honestly, I had my business getting me by. At some points, the business broke even. At some points, much more profit was coming. And you know, I always tell myself that if I put this much passion that I put, imagine waking up at 6:30 a.m. and going to bed at 9 p.m. working on my own passion, working on my own business. And that's why in the beginning I said it, that it grew me, or I kind of like that environment. I feel like when people commend my work ethics now, I see how that place really helped me as well to not lose what I already had. I can't say he gave it to me, because since the first day I started work there, I had been on the blah blah blah. But like, if I carry that much passion for work that God has blessed me with, to maybe where I didn't have to work as hard, maybe I would have lost, you know, the zeal and the kind of ethics that is helping me with my business today. But still, I won't say because you're helping me sustain my work ethic, you should now kill me, kill my drive, kill my energy. In fact, it was a lot, right? So this is just for somebody. This is the end of the year. Maybe this job is stopping you and you feel like, there is no way I can make it out of here. See, I love how I know that when God made me, what I will eat is inside of me. Like, that's one thing in this life. And people say when I say that, it's because you're hardworking naturally, or it's because, you know, you can do many things. And I'm like, I grew into this person. That's my point. Like, you can grow into that. Being comfortable, being lazy for some, right, has just kept you in this place where nothing is going to change for you. Like, you're not going to grow in that atmosphere. You just have these big dreams and vision boards and things, but you're not taking the proper steps because you're stuck in that place. And maybe you are not even in a toxic work environment, but you're settling for bare minimum on your job. You know, you're just comfortable, but deep down, you know, you have dreams, right, of your career, to improve yourself, to travel, to do things like that. And you're just like, this place is comfortable. Then this is for you. You're entering a new year. Please take steps to make sure that you grow. You grow. When God made us, He didn't make us to be stagnant. He wants us to grow and increase on every good side, right? So I just thought to come share that with you, and I really hope that this helps you as you make your decisions and carve your way for the coming years. Take care. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Whenever your heart is broken, don't ever forget you're golden. I will find the light in your soul.